All right, let's do this. It's Sunday. We're going to do what is typically now my A to Z of stocks. I'm just going to go through everything. Not going to cover the gold or silver miners. I did that in my Saturday post. So excluding those, we will start with Alcoa. And Alcoa's up 30% on the month. This is quite incredible. I mean, look at it. This is bringing up. This is month 8 up in the 54s. We're now set to challenge the January 23 55s. Above 55, there really isn't anything, excluding this little 59s from April 2018. There's nothing really until about 85 to 94. I mean, clearly, zero sign of a top, of a short term or mid-term top. It's accelerating. King of retail or tech retail. So Apple's did print a new historic high, 288. It's currently net lower for the month by 2%, but I would just see that as spurious cooling. Airbnb's up 17%, but I don't like it. Never will. Archer Aviation, still midterm broken under the 10 MA. I like the company for the long term, but short term it's broken. American Eagle. Yeah, I mean, it's cooled off a little bit, but look, it printed a new multi-year high of 28s. Next resistance, really, I mean, yeah, it's about, yeah, $30. So we've come close, but you got to think, we're going to print 30 in January. Again, on a MACD basis, momentum is just building. There's no reason to expect a short-term top anytime soon. AMD is actually down 1% on the month. Note the fact that November was pretty ugly. Good company, good products. I wouldn't be short it. That would be ludicrous. Amazon, king of online retail. So yeah, look at November. November printed a new historic high, cooling back. We're fractionally lower in the month, but you can see, look at this. This is a good example. We have a lot of spikes from the 10 MA. It's short, midterm bullish. Art, Kathy Wood. I mean, really, does anyone really care? Not really. Yeah. I was pretty derisory, yeah. I can't help it. Boeing, look at that. 14.5% for the month. So 3 months of cooling, and we're strongly back. We're back above the 10 MA. You got to think we have a good chance at the December 2023 267s. Not until February or March, so we're not going to do it in January. That would be unlikely. But yeah, February or March, challenge that. I mean, think about this. Look at this. 435 in March of 2019 before they lost a couple of those 737 MAX planes. Interesting how that works out, isn't it? Alibaba low for a third month. Again, there's so many good American retailers out there. Why would you want that? Bank of America, new historic high up 5.2% on a month. Financials doing good. Again, what would really help them was if rates don't get cut any further. Now, I'm guessing we'll see 2 rate cuts in 2026, but that's only 0.5%, and it's in a scheme of things, the financials would be able to deal with that. Caterpillar, new historic high at 1.3%. Yeah, I mean, you can argue it's short term overstretched. Looks a little vulnerable. Kamiko, CCJ, it's up 5% on the month. So yeah, a lot of these uranium nuclear stocks had a rough November, but they're leaning back upwards, most of them. Carnival Cruise. Look at that, up 19% on the month. Again, these cruise lines doing pretty good. A lot of old people just spending decades on cruise ships. Incredible. Clearly, target is 34, 35-ish. That goes back for over a decade. Cleveland Cliffs. So that one's higher for a 7th month. Look at the November candle. It's spiky from the 10 of May, which is played out. So you could look for maybe the 16s, 17s in January or February. CNX, we have a short-term double, well, we have a midterm double top from the 41s, 42s. Sure. Deckers, I like. Deckers is high for a 2nd month. We appear to have a key low from around, what's that, 78? I think it was 78. Can't quite read on this. Yeah, 78.91. My target is 150. We have once we can break above. Look at actually look. We're at the 10 of May, 103, right? Bullish soft target 125, secondary target 150. Stock charts has a P and F target of 150 also. I think this is a $150 stock. It's also one reason why I have turned bullish Nike. The Mouse of Disney up 9%, looking bullish into January. Remember, earnings will come out in early February. I'm not a fan of this one, but every time they try and bring momentum negative, they bounce it again. So it looks like the 101s are a key low, and next target will be get it back to the 123s, which look probable late January, early Feb. Energy transfer down 2.7%. It is short-term broken under the 10 MA. Has a pretty tasty yield of around 8%, I think. And considering oil, it's holding up very well. Ford, fractionally higher. I mean, that was it. They had a 19 billion write-off of their EV segment. Not good. That very bad. Freeport McMoran, look at that, 23% up because copper looks like it wants to print the sixes. Do you want to flash the copper? Let's just jump to copper. I'll put up a copper chart. Where's my copper chart? There it is. Put up 11%, 578. Yep, the sixes look due. GE Aerospace, bullish engulfing candle, near historic high at 5.5%. What an incredible run. Of course, this company has been split into pieces. So these these prior prices, they in many ways they really don't apply anymore because I forget when the split was. Maybe it was around here, but yeah, it's not. GE is not what it used to be. It's been split into three. Google just cooling back a little bit. I mean, Google has nothing to prove. It's just a touch of cooling. The Squid Goldman new strike high up 10%. 10%. That's impressive. Zero sign of a high of a short-term high. Look at that. You gotta think, right? They gotta push it for 1,000. Maybe not until February. Earnings aren't too far off, like 2.5 week, 2.5, 3 weeks. That'll be fine. Home Depot, a lot of churn. Down 1.4%. I would note the 50 MA on a monthly chart, which has been holding as support for many, 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 many years. Look at the COVID low, it's spiked off from around there. So I would be bearish if we have a monthly close under 50 MA, which is 327. But that does not look likely, clearly, with only 3 days left of the year. So that's not going to happen. Maybe in January or February, maybe. I don't know. But otherwise, short-term bullish, but it is a mid-term chop fest. Intel. Note the spike from key price threshold down 10.7%, but it's midterm, but it should be seen as midterm bullish unless it goes back under the 10 MA, which is just under 28. Again, we're not going to go into that, are we? In January. So you got to wonder if we can break above 44 in January. Joby Air Transport, Air Taxi, again, very embryonic company, down 4%, but it's stronger than Archer Aviation. I like both of them. JP Morgan up 5%, almost new historic high. Look at these little spiky floor candles. Every time that the stock sells off, the buyers pile in. And look at this. They spiked it in April, $200. It's 327. It is up $127, which is what? What's 127 on 200? It's about what? Close to 60 odd percent in like 8 months. It's impressive. JB Homes down almost 11%. That's a bearish engulfing candle. That is a problem. Yeah, momentum's been negative all this time. Oh, great. KMI, similar to Energy Transfer. A lot of chop. Relative to oil prices, it's holding up well. Lithium Americas is down 16%. Again, the problem is they're not going to be mining any lithium until at least early 2027. So still another year. Lockheed, one of the best financials, up 5% on a month. Is that 5 or 6? I think it's 6 actually. Um, I mean, look, it's kind of like, yeah, in a way, note the fact that it generally finds support around the 50 MA on a monthly. Look at this, all the way back years and years. Got to be bullish for defense stocks, right? You can't be, they're just going to keep on throwing money, trillions, at the military industrial complex. Cheniere Energy, down 9% with nat gas prices. LVS, don't much care. Meta. Yeah, I mean, you can see there's some sellers coming in here from around the 10 MA. It's up 2% on the month, but that is a somewhat bearish candle. Lean's kind of weak into January. Mosaic, a lot of chop. MP Materials. I like this one for the long term, but it's come down from 100 to 50. Currently 53s. On a monthly chart, look, this is the thing. If anybody buying, there's no sign of a turn. In fact, momentum is accelerating on the weaker side. So they're going to wait. They're going to wait. They're going to wait for at least, the more cautious will be waiting for some kind of floor, which I'm guessing will occur around 50. But I mean, the bolder people could be buying, right? With a stop around $50. Morgan Stanley, another strong financial, up 7%, new historic high. Look at it, 181. This was 92. It is almost doubled since April. Just straight up. I mean, little cooling waves, but every time you get a cooling wave, they buy it up again. Incredible run. Look at that, a COVID low, $22, 22 to 181. So it took 5 years to go up almost what, factor of 9. Microsoft, a little bit of cooling. I mean, it's just You could argue it's just been consolidating from a new historic high. Oh, look at Micron. I mean, I tell you, in the tech hardware space, there is absolute mayhem because memory prices are soaring because of all the data centers are buying up all the products. And Micron is now closing down its retail consumer arm, Corsair, which makes memory and drives. And they're not going to be selling to the consumer anymore unless they backtrack on that decision, which I'm guessing they won't, because they want to sell to corporate and they can make more money. And they don't have to worry about the consumer anymore. They just sell them to corporations. 20% on the month, 284. Clearly, it could be 300 in January. Crazy. Netflix, the fifth monthly decline of six. It's down 12%, 84s. Correction, 94s. I will note, and this is bearish, momentum has only just turned negative this month. We're probably going to tick lower for a few more months, right? And if you assume another one or two down candles, $70. That would be the natural floor. I would accept 82, but that in a momentum on a cyclical basis, we're primed to go down. More likely to go down to 70, even find a floor 82. Ah, yes, Nike. Nike's net lower for the month by 5%. Recent earnings were mixed. They weren't bad earnings. The company is very profitable, but you know, it's struggling because of the consumer. I will note we have a, despite mixed earnings, we are offering a potential higher low. So from 51 in April, this month low was 56.99. We're currently $60. Clearly, this look at this trend, this long-term downward trend that goes back to 167s in November of 2021. If this can break trend, which is roughly going to be $70-ish in January, then we're going to probably break through that price threshold and go up to $90, which is notably where the upper Bollinger is. I think we're going to break up on the way. I am bullish Nike. Don't own it, but I'm thinking about it. NVDA. November was rough, bearish engulfing candle. Did play out briefly. We're currently set for a net monthly gain of 7.6%. You can only be kind of bearish if we go back under the 10 MA, currently 161. That doesn't look likely anytime soon. Occidental down 4.5% because oil. It's not great. Pfizer down 2.5%. It's a lot of chop though, right? 2 years, a few swings, but broadly, it's a long way below the COVID hysteria peak of $50. There are better pharmaceutical, if I can say the word, drug companies. Will go with that. It's far better companies than Pfizer, Amgen, Gilead, AbbVie, Merck, MRK. Palantir, Michael Berry's one of his big shorts, currently up 12%. You can see that it did, momentum did tick lower in December still, but unless we go under the, look at this. This is important. The 10 MA was support in April of 25. It almost touched it in November. This is still bullish. I have serious ethical issues with this company, but just because a company might be borderline evil, doesn't mean it's a valid short. You got to wonder if we go above 207, Michael Berry's going to have to capitulate. There's no way he should be holding if we go above 207. Peloton, great example of a flatlining zombie. PayPal, profitable, but the stock is also a flatlining zombie. Transocean down 8%. You know, not profitable company. No, thank you. Rocket Lab, wow, yeah. The company's making good progress. It's up 67% for the month. That's actually a bullish engulfing candle, new historic high. It's vulnerable to retracing a little bit, but you know, if you're considering the SpaceX IPO will probably be next September, I think there's a good chance this could be $200. I don't own it. I accept 200 would be crazy talk, but Rocket Lab is literally going to the moon and then Mars and beyond. Rumble, dead money. Nice website, but the stock is dead. Schwab broker, new historic high up almost 10%. Impressive. I did hear a long time, some earlier this year, that they're looking to do crypto trading, which would be a real problem to Coinbase. Um, so Schwab is bullish. I don't actually chart Coinbase on a monthly, but I'll type it in. Yeah, I mean, look at Coinbase. Coinbase is down 13% on the month. And the concern should be that you might get news in maybe Q1 or Q2 of 26 that Schwab is going to be launching crypto trading and undercut Coinbase. That'd be a problem. Schlumberger, much like Occidental, actually it's holding up better, but still, it's a lot of chop. They need higher oil, right? Nuclear companies, look at this. $57 in October. I called for $20 when it was 57. It's already in the 14s. So it's even on my crazy target has been surpassed. I will note, look at this. Momentum has only just turned negative. This could easily tick down for another 1 or 2 months, easily. And you got to wonder about the April 11th. I mean, we're only talking $3 more. Maybe maybe we could maybe look for a double low, double floor from around 11. I like to be quite clear, I like the company. I don't own it. What I'd like to see, yeah, this is what I'd like to see. I'd like to see this kind of candle in January or February, and then I could chase it on the notion that maybe we have a big up candle, whether it's March, April, May, doesn't really matter. But yeah, we have no sign of a floor. Target. Target's actually trying to break up and away, up 9.8% on the month. Look at momentum. Monthly momentum might turn positive in January. And if it does, we could maybe look for a wave like this. Couple of up candles. So my target for target is 115 and then 145. Except 145 might not be printed until late summer, which is a long way off. But this does appear to have a key floor from the 83s. Stock is cheap. Tesla. So Tesla, new historic high, 498s, set for a net monthly gain of 10%. Very impressive. Monthly momentum is on the high end. It's not, it's not even close to turning negative for at least a few months. Who would dare be bearish Tesla? Even though we know, we know confidently that Q4 sales are going to be terrible, and yet somehow they've managed to still rally the stock from 214 to 475. Uh, king of one of the kings of king supplier to the semicons, Taiwan Semicon. So that actually did print a new historic high, 313. People don't really care about it. No, this candle's a beautiful candle. Look at this. It spiked right off key price threshold that goes back a couple of years. Look at that. It's a beautiful example of why price thresholds matter, right? Great company. Take Two, Grand Theft Auto 6 up 4%. I can't remember whether they're going to release the game next May or not until the autumn. I need to check. United Airlines up 11%. That might actually be a new historic high. I'm going to check. Yeah, it is. All right. It's impressive. Uber's down 7%. You can see the sellers came in at the 10 of May. Monthly momentum has turned negative. Short-term bearish. I mean, it's trying to, there's a little support threshold here from around, what, $80? But considering momentum's just turned negative, you've got to think, hey, maybe they'll come take this down to 65. Yeah, 65, 64. Look at the 64s from February of 2021. Uranium Energy, much like Kamiko, a little bit weaker than Kamiko. Yeah, it's a hell of a drop, right? 1780 to the 12s. It's not pleasant if you're in that one. And I will say on a monthly cyclical basis, we're on the high side. That's a problem. It's like if you were going to be buying, that would be the area to be buying, like in spring of this year. Had a good run. Now look at it, had a good run from 385 to 1780. And United Health, which I like this one a lot. So it's currently net high for the month by 1.3%. Multi-month structure is a bull flag. We're trying to break above 10 of May. So a lot of resistance around 341. If we can break above it, this is going to go to 460. Keep remember, key price threshold is 460. There's a legacy gap around 470 up to like 540. For some reason, the gap doesn't show on here. Yeah, it doesn't matter. So you can see it on the daily chart. But yeah, if it can break above that, it's going to go up on a multi-month basis into the 460, 470s. I like this one, and I am considering as a midterm buy. Also note that the monthly momentum, it's not going to turn positive in January, but it might turn positive in February or March. In fact, it probably should. So February or March, this should be breaking up and away towards 460, 470. I want in on this trade. It's not super bold either because it's a Dow component, and there's a lot to be said for a big, boring Dow stock. And structure is a multi-month bull flag. That's a bull flag. Anything else in this list? Oh, there's a few others. UPS, which is my number one target right now. UPS is currently up 5% for the month at $100. If it can break above 110, that would be a massive uh, breakout. My target is 125 to 130, which, is it viable in January? No, probably more likely February, early Feb maybe. We could be up there. I do not own, but I am looking to own. Also note that the October candle was bullish engulfing. November confirmed it. December's got bullish follow through. Also, note that momentum has turned positive for the first time since March of 2022. So this is a major big deal. Most people haven't noticed. Hardly anyone, only the chart lunatics will have noticed this. This is a big deal. Now, I would accept technically it's still long-term bearish from the 194s. I'm guessing we break up on the way. Warner Brothers up 20% as the bidding war continues. I still think Paramount might put another bid in. I think I did hear that Paramount are actually going to threatening to sue Warner Brothers for agreeing to the Netflix deal, or maybe they're suing Netflix. I don't know, some kind of legal nonsense, and you know, it does seem that clearly somebody's got to buy Warner. I kind of hope it's almost well. People are worried about Netflix buying it because it would be they would want to probably close the movie studios and make it more of a TV production company. Wells Fargo, we don't care about that. I mean, look, it's up 10, 11% on the month. Um, okay, we've got two others. Yeah, Exxon, almost new strike high. And relative, considering oil, this is a very good performance. And lastly, Block, which is much like PayPal. It's just a midterm, actually technically long-term flatlining zombie. Back in the old trading range it was originally stuck in. And you see the COVID hysteria, which of course eventually was fully retraced to. What chart do I want to end on today? Merely to note that we have 3 trading days left of the year. S&P is currently up for a 8th consecutive month. Monthly RSI is 76. We are overbought, but that could remain the case for some months to come. It's difficult. I can't see how we're not going to print 7K in whether it's the end of this week, whether it's before year end or early January. I don't think it matters, but 7K looks probable. And then maybe my guess is maybe 70, 72, 7,300 within February or March, and then maybe retrace back a bit. Yeah. Anyway, there's some interesting things there. I do have a particular interest in UPS, United Health, Target, Nike, Deckers. They look interesting. Um, and of course, there's silver, but silver can do its own thing regardless of the main market. And at some point, I will merely say that at some point, silver is going to get stuck. My guess is that somewhere near $100 with gold around 5,000. But wherever it gets stuck, the retracement is going to be ugly. And it's going to span some number of weeks. It's going to spook the hell out of people. So enjoy the rest of the year, and I will leave it at that. Be good.